given by 1 by L integration from minus L to L f of x dx. A n is given by 1 by L integration from minus L to L f of x cos n pi x upon L dx, and Bn is given by 1 upon L integration from minus L to L f of x sin n pi x divided by L dx. So this is all that you know. So what is Fourier series? It is periodic function, piecewise continuous function. So it is defined by this series where the coefficients are given using this Euler's formula. Right. Next we have studied about the Fourier transform of any function. So for the Fourier transform of any function to exist, the function should be piecewise continuous in the interval minus infinity to infinity, and it should be absolutely convergent. That means the integration of this absolute function, this should be convergent, and if these two conditions are satisfied, that means the Fourier transform of that particular function is given to be integration from minus infinity to infinity the function, and then we multiply that by e to the power minus iota omega t dt. Next, what is the inverse Fourier transform? For the inverse Fourier transform, we should have this assumption that the integration from minus infinity to infinity, the absolute value of f of omega d omega, this converges. And if this is the case, if this happens, that means the Fourier inverse of f of omega, that is equal to 1 by 2 pi integration from minus infinity to infinity that function, and that multiplied by e to the power plus iota omega t. In the forward Fourier transform, we had minus iota omega t, and here we have plus iota omega t d omega. Next, we saw several properties of Fourier transform. We saw the linearity property, which was similar to that of differentiation and integration, that whenever we have to perform the derivative of some function, say f of a into f of x plus b into g of x, some function of this kind, so it is equivalent to a into the derivative of f of x plus b into the derivative of g of x, right? So parallel to this, we have the linearity property of the Fourier transform of a f of t plus b g of t, that is equivalent to a the Fourier transform of f of t and b the Fourier transform of g of t, right? And the second property that we have studied was change of scale property. So if you have some function f of t, when you apply the scaling operator onto it, you would obtain f of a t, right? Where depending on the value of this a, if your a is less than 1, we have expansion. If your a is greater than 1, we have compression. And if a was equal to 1, we have the folding or the reversal property. And the Fourier transform of the scaled function f of a t, that was given by 1 upon a into the Fourier transform of this function f of t, where now we have replaced, instead of f omega, we have omega by a. So wherever you have this omega, you just replace that by omega by a. And in this folding property, we have the Fourier transform of f of minus t, that is equal to the Fourier transform of minus omega, right? So next, let us see the shifting property. In shifting property, what we do, we suppose we have the signal. So how the signal is defined? We have the signal where for t less than 0, your function is 0. So this is 0. For t less than 0, your function would have value 0. And when t is greater than or equal to 0, say this is magnitude 3. So from here, the function has value 3. So this is the function f of t. So when you shift this function towards right by 2 units, so if you shift that function towards right by 2 units, so we would have something like this. So that means our same function has now been shifted 2 units to the right. So when t is less than 2, your function value is equal to 0, and when your t is greater than equal to 2, your function value, that is equal to 3. So this is the function which has now been shifted towards right by 2 units, right? So this is the shifting property. Now what would be the Fourier transform for this shifting on t-axis? So suppose the Fourier transform of this function f of t, that is defined by capital F of omega, and t naught is any real number. So in that case, the Fourier transform of f of t minus t naught is given by e to the power minus iota omega t naught into f of omega. And if you shift this Fourier transform operator onto the right hand side, so you will have Fourier inverse of e to the power minus iota omega t naught f of omega. So that would be equal to this particular function f of t minus t naught. So let us see its proof. For the proof, we consider the Fourier transform of this function f of t minus t naught. So this would be by definition equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity f of t minus t naught e to the power minus iota omega t dt, right? So this is by definition. Whatever you have here, you substitute here, right? So now in order to make our here t minus t naught, what we do, we just multiply by e to the power minus iota omega t naught plus here and minus here. So we would have something like this. So we would have e to the power minus iota omega t naught integration from minus infinity to infinity f of t minus t naught, and then we would have e to the power minus iota omega t minus t naught dt. So this is what we will get, and then we can substitute this t minus t naught as equal to tau, and here t minus t naught as equal to tau, so that when you differentiate this, you would have dt is equal to d tau, and the limits when t was going from minus infinity, tau will also approach to minus infinity according to this definition, and when t is going towards infinity, our tau will also move towards infinity. So when you substitute all these limits into our given function, we would have the Fourier transform of f of t minus t naught, that is equal to e to the power minus iota omega t naught integration from minus infinity to infinity f of tau e to the power minus iota omega tau d tau, right? And by definition, this is equivalent to the Fourier transform of omega, because in definition it does not matter what variable we are using over here. That the thing that matters is we should perform the integration with respect to that same variable which is present over here as well as over here. So according to this definition, this is the proof. So let us see an example for this one. We have to find the Fourier inverse of this particular function. So how can we do that? So now you can see we have e to the power 4 iota omega present over here. So if we calculate the Fourier inverse of this function 1 upon 3 plus iota omega, so then we can apply the shifting property for this using this particular formula, using this inverse formula. So we have something of this kind, e to the power something into the Fourier inverse of some other function. So what can we do over here? Here firstly we'll calculate the Fourier inverse of 1 by 3 plus iota omega. So it is equal to, we know this formula, that Fourier transform of u naught t e to the power minus alpha t, this is equal to 1 by alpha plus iota omega, where what is this u naught t? This is the unit step function. What is unit step function? This is the function which is 0 when t is less than 0, and this is 1 when t is greater than equal to 0, right? So this is the unit step function. So it is discontinuous at this point 0, right? So the Fourier transform of this unit function u naught t into e to the power minus alpha t, that is equivalent to 1 divided by alpha plus 1 by omega, right? So now we have in what would be the Fourier inverse transform of this particular function 1 by 3 plus iota omega. So it would be equal to u naught t into e to the power minus 3t according to this formula. So if you have alpha here as a plus, so you would have minus alpha here as a negative. So here we have 3, so here it should be minus 3t. So the Fourier inverse of this particular function comes out to be this function. So if this is f of t, if this is capital F of omega, so we can apply the shifting theorem over here. So we would have Fourier inverse of e to the power minus iota omega t naught f of omega, that is equal to f of t minus t naught. So now we obtained f of t. The only thing required, that is, we have to replace this t with t minus t naught. And what is t naught here in our case? So that you will see according to this term, e to the power 4 iota omega. So here what is the value? So according to shifting theorem, we have this value of t naught as minus 4. So our t naught here is minus 4. So accordingly we would have u naught is equal to t minus minus 4 into e to the power minus 3 into t minus of minus 4. So wherever we had t in the expression, we just replace that by t minus minus 4, right? So you can simplify this, and whatever is this, this is the unit step function which has been displaced by 4 units to the left. So that means earlier we were at origin, now we are at this point minus 4. So before this point the magnitude of the function is 0 multiplied by this thing, so it is eventually 0, and whenever your function is greater than this, the magnitude now shifts to 1 multiplied by this particular function. So it would be e to the power minus 3 t plus 4, right? So this is the time shifting property. Next, let us discuss the frequency shifting property. In the frequency shifting property, we have f of omega, that is equivalent when we apply this shifting operator onto it, frequency shifting. So we would have something like this, f of omega plus minus omega naught. So here, suppose we have this function sine of omega. You know how to draw its graph. If graph is drawn like this, so now if I shift this graph to the right hand side by minus, it means we are shifting the graph to the right hand side by pi by 2 units. So our graph now becomes sine of omega minus pi by 2. So whole of this graph has now been shifted towards right by pi by 2 units. So this is the frequency shifting. So now how can we apply the Fourier transform onto the frequency shifting? So suppose the Fourier transform of f of t, that is given to be f of omega, and this omega naught is any real number, then the Fourier transform of e to the power iota omega naught t f of t, that is given to be capital F omega minus omega naught. Or in other words, if you shift this operator to the right hand side, so we would have Fourier inverse of this particular function, f of omega minus omega naught, and this is equivalent to e to the power iota omega naught t f of t, right? So let us see its proof. The proof is really simple. So for that, what we are doing, we are taking the Fourier transform of e to the power iota omega naught t f of t. So we can apply its definition. So our function is this one, and this is according to definition. So now we can combine this term and this term together. The powers here would add up, so we would have e to the power minus iota common, and in the bracket we would have omega minus omega naught. It should be omega, right? So it should be omega, so it becomes this, right? So now by definition this is defined like this. If you have some function of this kind, minus infinity to infinity, f of t e to the power minus iota omega t dt, so then it is equivalent to capital F of omega. So whatever is here, that comes under here. So here in this case we have omega minus omega naught, so it comes as capital F omega minus omega naught. So this is the shifting theorems. So in the next class we shall discuss the modulation theorems and the convolution theorem. So if you have any doubts, you can ask.